if you love traveling and taking photos, you might have also tried to edit them, because not all the photos that we take, they have good colors and good light in them. So you might have also seen some professional photographers, they use one app called Adobe Lightroom. Now, previously this app was only available for computers, but later on Adobe also released the mobile version of this app. And in today's video, we are going to learn right from the basics to the advanced things in Adobe Lightroom mobile app. Now, this app comes in two versions. One is free version and other one is paid version. But don't worry about that. The free version offers all the amazing features that we want, because there are some paid features like masking and hailing. We can use those features in other apps like Snapseed. So without any further ado, let's get started. So now the first thing that you need to do is download this app. Simply go to App Store or Play Store and just type Adobe Lightroom. Now you can simply download this app. I have already downloaded it, so I'll open it now. Now, when you open the app, firstly you have to sign in and then you will come to this page. Now, here is a page where you can import all your photos. Now, there are basically two methods to import your photos into Lightroom app. The first one is you can directly click here on the plus icon at right bottom side. And from the gallery, you can select any photo that you want to edit. For example, this. Now, this will be imported into Lightroom. This is one method. And other method is you can directly go to photos or gallery, select any photo that you want to edit, share it via Lightroom. That's it. Now, after importing photo, you can go to all photos. Now, for demonstration purpose, I'll use this photo. So this is Gayatri, my wife. We went to Kashmir. So we are going to use this photo for demonstration purpose. Now, when you open the photo, at the bottom side, you can see there are several tools. The first two tools, masking and hailing, as I mentioned, these are available in paid version. So if you are using free version, then you might not use these two tools. But yeah, definitely you don't need this tool. Actually, you can use Snapseed for that. But still, we'll be discussing about these two tools at the end of this video. The first tool that we are going to discuss is crop. Now you might have think like, why crop? It's just a basic tool, like everyone knows about this tool. But the crop tool is very important tool to set composition in your photo, like where to keep your main subject and all those things. And you can also rotate your photo from here like this. Like if the orientation of your photo is not correct, then you can use this rotation. Now you can also flip it like this, horizontally then vertically, and you can also crop it in desired aspect ratio like 3:4, 1:2, 4:5. Also there is 9:16 for Instagram stories like this. So I'll keep it to 3:4. The next tool is preset. Now preset is like if you edit one photo and you want to apply your edit to another photo. So in that case, you have to edit the second photo again. So this preset tool, it saves this time. Now if you edit this photo, you can save these edits as a preset and you can use this preset on your next photo. Next, now auto. Now what auto does, like as name suggests, it automatically applies the changes. It automatically corrects the light and colors in your photo. Now this is a good starting point of your photo editing, but we should also play with other things, like we should not stop at auto. Let's go to lights. Now as name suggests, light tool, what it does, it adjusts the lights in your photos. For example, you can see exposure. First slider is exposure. You can correct the exposure. If your photo is underexposed, you can definitely increase it. But I think our photo is like perfectly exposed. Next one is contrast. Now using contrast, you can brighten the brighter areas and darken the darker areas. So it will create a contrast. Now brighter areas means most of the time the sky in our image, it's a brighter area, and some shadows like trees or grass, or like in this case you can see the stone. If I increase the contrast, you can see that our stone is getting darker and sky is getting brighter. Now highlights. What highlight does, it takes light away from the brighter areas so that we can get more details in brighter areas. So for example, here you can see clouds in the sky. Now if I reduce the highlights, you can see we are getting details in brighter areas. But if we are increasing highlights, then we are losing the details in brighter areas. So most of the time professional editors usually reduces the highlights and they increases the shadow. For example, here you can see that this tone, if we increase the shadow, we are getting details back from the dark area. Like this. I think this looks perfect. And whites. What white does, white increases or decreases the exact white point in your image. Now to check where are the white points, you can use your 2 fingers and slide along the slider. You can see like, yeah, at this point we are started getting white points in our image. So I'll put it here, yeah. And similarly blacks, like black point in your image. Most of the time they are from the hair of your main subject. Now here also you can increase it or decrease it. And as I suggested, you can use 2 fingers to check where are these black points. Here you can see now her hairs are getting into the picture. I think this looks fine. Yeah. Now, at right upper side you can also see curves. And you know that how curves work. If you don't know, you can see my video on that. I have made a very detailed video on that. But still in today's video, I'll give you a quick introduction of curves. Now basically there are 4 curves. First one is RGB curve. It contains all the information of all colors like red, green, blue. Then there are 3 separate curves. Red, green and blue. You can control individual colors. But let's come to the RGB curve first. Now left side of your curve contains shadows. Middle portion contains midtones and right side contains highlights. Now let's create one point on highlights at right upper side. Now also let's create one middle point by touching it and also create one point at shadows. Now here is the shadows, midtones and highlights. Now as I told you, highlight means the brighter areas in your image. For example, sky in this case. Now if you want to change the light of your sky, you can simply just raise the curve. It will increase the brightness of brighter areas. Or if you decrease it, it will reduce the light from brighter area. Now similarly, using the shadows point, you can play around the shadows. Like here you can see a tone and midtones affect all the portion between shadows and highlights. Most of the time professionals use to do a S-curve like this. Like they raise the highlights a little bit and they will decrease some shadows to get the contrast, that crispy contrast. Not too much. I think this looks fine for me. And also you might have also seen that matte finishing look to your photos. For that you have to increase this lower bottom point. Like this. You can see a photo has got some matte finishing. But yeah, we'll do it in another photo. Now let's go to the next curve. It's a red curve. Now red curve also has same like shadows, midtones and highlight. Let me explain you. Now here we have created 3 points, one at shadow, one at midtone and other one at highlight. Now if you raise the, now let's concentrate on highlights. Highlights means sky in our case. Now if we increase highlights, it's adding red color in our highlight. But if we are reducing highlight, then it's adding cyan color in our highlights. Why it's adding red color and why it's adding cyan? Now to understand this, you have to understand the digital color circle. Now you know that the opposite of red is cyan as per color circle. All the digital software, app or any color that you watch on TV or anywhere in this digital world, these are based on this color circle. So you should have understanding of this color circle before you learn editing. If you want to remove the created point, you can simply double tap on that. I won't touch this red curve. Similarly green, if you increases it, it will add green color. If you reduces it, it will add magenta color as per color circle. Opposite of green is magenta. Like this. Similarly to blue curve, if you increase it, it will add blue color. If you reduce it, it will add yellow color as per color circle. Now I won't change it. Now simply click on done. Now let's come to the colors. Now colors plays with all the colors in your image. Now all these tool names are self-explanatory. For example, let's go to the first slider, temperature. A photo has also some temperature. It depends on the lights. Now the orange light in your photo, it shows that the temperature in your photo is high, whereas the bluish tone in your photo, it denotes your photo is cold. Now our camera sensor not always capture the correct temperature, so in the post-processing we have to do it manually. So at that time this slider comes into the picture. It's also called as white balance. Now to set the white balance correctly, you can use this eyedropper tool. Now using this eyedropper tool, select the area in your image which is supposed to be a white. For example, let's say the clouds in this case, and simply type on OK. Now you can see the temperature and tilt slider, they are adjusted automatically. Now this is one automatical method, or you can simply play with the sliders like temperature, add orangish color, add a bluish color. Also tint, it will add magenta color to right side and green color to left side. Now the bottom two tools are vibrance and saturation. In this video, we are going to discuss about the difference between vibrance and saturation. Now firstly, let me tell you about saturation. Let's increase the saturation to 100%. I know that it's not looking good, but you can observe that each color in our photo, the saturation value of this color is boosted to 100%. Right from her skin tones to sky and greens like grass. Now focus on her skin tones. Now let's reduce the saturation. Okay. Now when saturation is at 100%, just remember the skin tone color. And now we are going to boost vibrance. Now after boosting vibrance, you can see that vibrance usually affect those pixels which has less saturation. And usually it won't affect the mid-tones, means skin. Usually our skin come in the mid-tone. So vibrance, it will concentrate on the low saturated pixels and it won't affect mid-tones that much as compared to saturation. Saturation boosts all the colors in your image, but vibrance is smart. So most of the time I use vibrance, I won't even touch saturation. So at right upper side, you can see there are three tools. Now on the left upper side, you can see black and white, which is simple, like you can convert your image into black and white. But there are two things, grading and mix. Now these two things are very important, and for these two things Lightroom is famous for. Now let's go to the mix first. Now after going to mix, you can see there are several colors at the top side like red, orange, yellow, green and all other colors. Now we know that each color has three properties: hue, saturation and luminance. Now with using this HSL panel, we can adjust this three property of particular color, and this is a game changer tool in Lightroom. For example, now let's come to the green color. As I said, there are three properties: hue, saturation and luminance. Firstly, let's discuss about the saturation and luminance. Now saturation, let's reduce the saturation. You can see that the green color, our image, is now less saturated. So we can target particular color using this HSL panel. So that's the beauty of this app. So you can play with the saturation of green color. Next, luminance of the green color. Yeah, I'm playing with this. And let's come to the hue. Now hue is nothing but the color name. Now you remember that I said about the color circle. Now in this color circle, like if you take this color circle and break it and convert it into a horizontal line. So after converting it into the horizontal line, you can see the same color that we see here above, like red, orange, then yellow, green, in this manner, in this sequence also. So if you come to green color and push your slider to left side, then it will try to add a color which is on the left side of green color. Now here you can see that on the left side of green there is yellow color. So it's converting our green color into yellow color. And if you move it to the right side, it will try to add cyan color to your greens, because on the right hand side it's a cyan. If you save this image and further come to this image and again shift the slider to right side, then it will convert this green color to blue color. Yeah, definitely it will not look good here, but you should know the purpose of this tool. For example, also you can target on sky. Most of the time sky is blue, like exception is like evening scenes. So in this case, let's assume the sky is blue as per this image. Now you can change the color of sky, like move it to cyan or move it towards magenta color. So most of the time I move it a little bit towards cyan color. Then I will increase little bit of saturation or decrease depending on condition, and I will reduce some luminance. But make sure that while reducing the luminance, you can see that there are noise and color banding. So you should look these types of errors in your editing. So I think this looks fine. Okay. Now, apart from this all color, let's say you have to brighten your skin tones or darken your skin tones depending on condition. Sometimes they are overexposed or underexposed. So in this scenario, you can use this orange color, because you know that our skin color are usually a little bit similar to a shade of orange. So Lightroom also has like orange color devoted to your skin tone. So when you come to orange color, if you increase the luminance, you can see that you just focus on her skin, it's brightening up or it's darkening. So go to the whatever value you want. Now I'll simply click on red color now, because the color of her pants and her hat I want to change. Now it's a shade of red color. So if you want to make it more move towards magenta, or make it move more towards orange color, I'll move it to the left side towards magenta, and I will also increase some saturation. I think this looks perfect and done. Now if you want to compare your before image and after image, you can simply long press on screen. You can see before, you can after. You can see how far we have come. Now let's come to the grading thing. Now we have learned about the mix or HSL panel. It is also called as HSL panel, hue, saturation and luminance panel, which is very useful, and you should understand how this panel works, because depending on this panel you can use different types of color grading. Now let's come to the next tool, grading. Now as HSL panel, grading is also a unique feature of Adobe Lightroom. So let's come to this grading. Now when you open the grading, you can see there are 4 dots at upper side. Now the first dot is for shadows. It will affect only shadows in our image. Then next one is mid-tone. Next one is highlight. Definitely it will affect only highlights. And last one is global. It will affect your overall image. Now let's start from the shadows. Now here in the shadows you can see that it's a color circle, as I told you, because color circle comes everywhere when it comes to correct the colors. Now here you can see that there are 2 points. Now I'll set the shadows value to teal color, let's say it's 200, let's say, and set the saturation value to 20. At right side you can see the values. Now what does it means? We have added the teal color with the saturation value of 20 to our shadows only. Now let's go to downside. Now here you can see that luminance. It will change the luminosity of this color of the shadows. You can see that only shadows are getting affected. You can focus on the stone. If we increase it, our stone is getting brighter. Now here is also blending. Now how the color that we added to the shadows, it will blend with the other colors. It shows the blending. And the balance. Now if you move the slider to the left side, it will only add the shadows color, the color that we have added in shadows. And if we move it to the right side, it will only add the highlight color that we added in highlight color wheel. You understand the purpose of balance. When it's to the left, it will add the shadow color. When it's to the right, it will add the color which is available in highlights. So let's skip it to the middle. Now let's go to the highlight circle, the third dot, because usually we don't use mid-tones that much. So in the highlights you can see that I have added the orange color. You can see that the value of orange is around 20 degrees Celsius and saturation is also 20. And here also there are same sliders, luminance, blending and balance. Change the luminance, you can see only sky is affected because it's a highlighted area. Now blending also, as I told you, same blending will blend the added color. And the balance. If you move it to the left, it will add the shadow color, the color that we used in shadow. If we move to the right, it will add the color that we added in highlight. Now in highlight we have added orangish color, so you can see that if we move the slider to the right side, it's adding some orangish color. And if we move the slider to the left side, it's adding the teal color shade. Let's put it to the middle and the last one is global. Now global, as I told you, it will affect overall image. So it will add the color to your overall image, not only highlight, not only shadows, to the overall image. Usually when you take photo at sunset, then you can add the orangish color and adjust the saturation accordingly. Like this, I used to do this, but now currently I won't change anything here. I simply click on done. Now we have learned the color tab also. The main things in color tab is setting white balance, means temperature, then HSL panel, and third one is grading, those 3 pages. Now let's move to the effects. Now in effect, first effect is texture. Now here if we boost the texture, you can see that our image is getting sharpened. You can also similarly increase the clarity slider. It will affect your overall image. Then the dehaze. Now dehaze works if there is any smoke in your photo, smoke or like fog. If you increase the dehaze, it will remove that smoke. Now currently our photo, it doesn't have any smoke or fog, so we'll keep it to 0. Now vignette. Now let's zoom out. Now if we move slider towards left, it will add subtle darkness around your main subject. If you move it to further left, you can see that how much darker it is. Let's move it to -23 is fine, it looks fine. Then midpoint is, you can check the midpoint, how close it should come to the center of the image. Midpoint shows this thing, you can observe. Yeah, it's just a trial and error method. So whenever you edit any photo, you can try to do various kind of things, that just play around the sliders, and that's how you learn. Now also roundness is like, you can see that. Now to showing this, I'll set the vignette to -100. Now here also put the midpoint and the roundness. When you move it to the left, it's turning into rectangle, and when you move it to the right, it's turning into circle. And feather is how smoothly it should blend. So we have to move it to right side. The feather usually between 80 to 100 is fine. Then the midpoint, I usually keep it in like this 40s, and the vignette value I usually set it to just 30, around 30. Yeah, that looks perfect for me. And here below you can see the highlight slider. Now this highlight slider will affect only highlights in vignette areas, and it will also add the grains in your image. Now here you can see that grains. Also you can control the size of these grains, roundness and everything, all other values also. So I'll reduce it to 0. Then you can see that the below sliders size and roughness, they are getting deactivated because our grains are 0. Now let's come to the details. Now in details section, you can sharpen your overall image, but it's not as harsh as clarity that we saw in previous slider. Now you can also change the other parameters of sharpening like radius, details, masking. Yeah, these are not that much importance. Yeah, noise reduction is important because when you take photos in the night, your photo might have some noise. So this slider will reduce the noise. Yeah. And here these below sliders are for noise reduction, like details and contrast, how the contrast should be. And also if there is a color noise in your photo, you can also change using this color noise reduction slider. So that was from detail slider. Next one is optics and geometry. These two are from the paid version, and these two are not as used as all the sliders, but still I will tell you about this optics. Like first one, it will remove the chromatic aberration. Like sometimes you take photos and your photo subject might have that red and blue border kind of thing. It's a failure of actually your lens of your camera. So that time you can see this chromatic aberration. So you can remove it simply by enabling this option. Now in geometry section, you can like distort your image. Like sometimes you take photos on GoPro with like ultra wide lens, then you can see that there are some like curves in horizon, straight lines are bended. So using this distortion, you can straighten them up. Also you can stretch it vertically, then horizontally, rotate, adjust the aspect ratio, then scale it, move to the X direction, move to the Y direction. I'll set it to 0, 0, 0, 0 because I don't want to play with this now. Here in the versions, you can see all the versions, your edited versions like original. If you click on original, you can see the original file of this photo and the current version that we have edited it. So now we have discussed about all the free tools available in Adobe Lightroom Mobile. Now let's discuss about the paid tools. So the first and important paid tool is masking. Now using this masking tool, you can concentrate on particular area of your image. For example, you can click on the add button here. Now here you can see which type of mask you want to apply. The first one is select subject. Now this is a really cool tool because when you select this, the AI of Adobe, it will automatically recognize your main subject. Now in this case, you can see that it has selected it in well manner. So you can only focus on this main subject. If you want to increase the brightness of this or reduce the brightness or add some colors, this tool is really a game changer. You can also click on invert. Here on the left bottom side, you can see that it's a garbage. If you click on that, it will delete the mask, and at upper side you can see the invert option. Now invert option, it will select all other things except your main subject, and you can change like the brightness of this particular thing. Isn't it cool? Or you can click on this mask, then again click on this add button, and you can select different mask. Let's say linear gradient. Now linear gradient is like this. You can apply one linear mask and you can change the brightness of that particular area. Now increasing the brightness here, it will create an effect that the sunlight is strong at that point and it's coming on her face. Like it's just a game of your imagination. Now let's keep it like this. Now here you can see there are also other masks like the brush. You can paint particular area. Now I'll delete this. Now here is a radial gradient like this. The circular mask will be created. I'll also delete this. Now color range. Now color range is also good. Like if you want to select a particular color, you can just move this circle toward this color and it will select only this color. Isn't it cool? So using this way, you can use this paid tools also. There is also other tool, healing. Now, healing is like to remove the unwanted thing in your photos. For example, if I select this thing and it's gone like this. It's like healing in Snapseed app also. You can use this tool free in Snapseed app. Now here you can see before and after. Now that was all for the today's video. I hope you like it and you have learned a lot of things using this video. So if you like this video, do subscribe our channel and also press the bell icon not to miss any of my future videos.